everyone, so today is Sunday, and in my last video, sorry, I'm out with the dog. We're out for a Sunday drive, going to the library, but anyways, he's crying because he wants my fries. So in my last video, I kind of told a little bit about my story, how I ended things to my ex, and things like that, and what happened, and I don't know. Anyways, I thought about it all night and this morning and things like that. And I'm like, I kind of said what happened, and it's very personal, what happened. And I was thinking about the person that I know that is in a situation like that, or other people I know that have been in situations like that. And I kind of said what happened, but I didn't really say how I felt. Like, this piece of hair in the last video drove me crazy too. I'm gonna have to cut that off. Anyways, yeah, so the more I thought about it, I thought, geez, I'm gonna do this, might as well just do it. So yeah, I didn't really talk about my feelings, which I guess is what I need to do to make things better. Maybe, I don't know. And that's really the hard part, because it is very personal. And I don't want the people around me to feel like, oh my God, like bad or upset. I don't want anybody to be upset, because I really am okay. I am. I've dealt with it, and things are better now. And I do have amazing support with Mr. Man now. So it's good. Like, he gets what happened, and so I'm able to talk to him about it a lot, which is nice. He's very understanding and supportive. So yeah. So yeah, it was actually really bad. It really was really, really bad. Yeah, on some occasions. And I say that it wasn't always bad. We had lots of good days, lots of fun days and laughs, and, did enjoy each other's company, but feelings changed on my behalf about 4 years ago because of his behavior and the things that we were going through. And I told him that, and he couldn't handle it. And, well, let's just try and work it out, maybe. And I'm like, okay, let's try and work it out. Maybe I'll get that back. I didn't, and it just got worse. And he knew that, and he picked up on it. So then he tried to overcompensate or something, and it always led to fighting. But so I kind of spoke about like how he would come home in the middle of the night and wake me up continuously. It was really bad. Like, it really was. Like, there was one night I was miserable. I was very sick, actually, and I had to work the next morning. And it was a Saturday. And when you're the boss and it's a Saturday, you don't really get a sick day, because you're going to call at 7:30 in the morning to go in. Nobody. They're not going to answer the phone. And I'm okay with that. But anyways, so I actually took string and strung it all across the doorway to our hallway. The entire thing. Taped it. And the hallway led to our bedroom, and put 2 big pieces of paper on it that said, "Do not wake me up when you come home. Under no circumstances, wake me up." So in order to get down the hallway to the bedroom, he would have had to walk through this wall of string or stop and read it. Because that's how bad it had gotten. I did that to stop him, make him think, okay. Anyways, next thing I know, I'm sleeping, I'm sick. It's like 4:30 in the morning, and he's waking me up. Literally. And I'm like, what? And I was in a deep sleep. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, did you not see that thing in the hallway that I put there to stop you from coming down the hallway and waking me up? And his response was, oh, yeah, I seen that. I didn't know what it was. I just moved it out of the way to come down. Okay. Well, if somebody goes to the effort of putting something there with a piece of paper and a sign on it, maybe you should take the time to go and read it. So he went back out and he read it, and he's like, oh, well, you're awake now. Yeah. About a month later is when I did kick him out. It was just, that's how it was. Yeah. No comprehension at all. None. And the next day he's like, you're right. I should never have woken you up. I was wrong, and blah, 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 but whatever. Yeah, it was tragic. It's really tragic. So I said as well, I think that I would go out to the car to try and get away from him. Sometimes I'd go drive around, but in the middle of the night, you don't feel like driving around. I would just literally sit in the car. And like sobbing so bad that I couldn't talk or catch my breath, and just like begging him to stop, like leave me alone, just leave me alone. And not that he was chasing after me or something like that, but like, just leave me alone, stop talking, stop yelling, just leave me alone. Like, I said no, and that should be the end of it, and I get to go back to sleep. Can't even tell you, like, there were so many days at work I just looked like shit. The bags under my eyes were worse than the ones I had when I was moving. Puffy face, and like the girls at work would be like, oh my god, you didn't sleep last night again? I'm like, no. And it became an actual joke, like, why didn't you sleep? Oh, because Marika woke me up in the middle of the night last night, but I didn't tell them why. I mean, who wants to say that, right? And make everybody look bad and have to deal with that. You know, you don't. You don't. I would be like sitting on the hallway floor, just in a mess, bawling at like 3 a.m. Just feeling awful. Just, I wanted it to end. By no means I was suicidal. I am not. I never was. But like wanting it to end, as in like wanting to go to sleep and wake up next week, or just wanting the mental exhaustion to stop. More than once, unfortunately. And I've only ever said this to one person, so this is difficult. Now I'm putting it out there for the entire goddamn world to see. More than once, it was really so bad. Like, just, yeah, because you're exhausted. You're exhausted. It's the middle of the night. You have to work, and that's all you can think about. And the screaming, the yelling, and somebody downstairs, and you don't want to wake them up and bother people, and he's standing over you screaming like, why do you do this to me, and blah, 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 and you don't love me, and I can't believe this. And you're like, just stop. Anyways, we had this kitchen knife, and no, I've never harmed myself. Never. I never wanted to. We had a kitchen knife, and I remember sitting on the floor one night, and I was crying so hard, and he was just yelling, and I picked it up, and I was just sitting there, and I'm like, you know what? I want to stab myself. I want to stab myself. Not to hurt myself or kill myself. But if I stab myself, I will bleed. And then he will see, actually, how much pain that I am in. And maybe he'll stop. Yeah, that's where, yeah. And that unfortunately happened more than once. And I said that out loud to him, and then he would stop. And sometimes the light bulb went off, and you could see that. Sometimes it didn't. So, yeah, that's really, like, and just a feeling of dread, like, oh my god, okay. Many, many nights I would go to bed, and I would finally get up off the floor, and I would go to bed. Because I had to work, so I'm trying to get like an hour's sleep. And like I would just fall asleep, and it's like half an hour and you're jarred awake because it's dead silence, and then all of a sudden, I can't believe you wouldn't do that for me. And I'm like, okay, like we dealt with this. It's been an hour. And you just woke me up an hour later, like to shoot off about it again, continuously. So that it got to the point where I was even like, all right, I'm waiting. Like I know in 20 minutes you're going to start shooting off again, so let's just say it all now and get it over with. I'm like, so stressed. I just don't even know. I started sleeping with earplugs in, so I couldn't hear him yelling at me, and would just fall asleep. I will say this. He never laid a hand on me, ever. Physically like that, ever. The mental was worse, because I would retaliate, because I would get mad. Then I would get to the point where I was extremely mad and upset and frustrated, and I would lash out and say horrible things that I'm not proud of. And I don't know if it was justified or not, but I'm not proud of them, and I have dealt with that, and I have apologized to him, and I've accepted it. And I would throw things out of frustration and anger. Because you just get to your breaking point tremendously. Like, it's, yeah. And I'm not that person. I never was. Never. And I didn't think I was then either. But somehow or another, me, with all the support system that I had, my friends, my family, everything fell into that. And you don't see it while you're in it. And I knew that. And I was like, okay. We would have countless conversations about, like, we have to end this because we're going to kill each other. Like, I can't do this anymore. I can't come home from work and fight with you. I don't have it in me. I don't want to. So then it just became easier to give him what he wants, so there was no fighting. And then you don't feel good about yourself doing that either. You really don't. You don't. Like, you just kind of shut off. Shut your brain off. You don't think about it. You do what you have to do, and then it's done. Yeah. It's brutal. And, like, for 3 years, I would lay in bed awake at night when he wasn't there, when he was at work, and look around and think, I can't do this. I can't do 2 more days of this. I can't make it another week like this. I can't. Like, I have to get out of this. I have to take his stuff and take it out. I have to end it. I have to. And I would get up the courage to, like, to say it to him. And then something would happen and he couldn't do it. Or we'd have, like, really bad days. And I'm like, okay, I gotta get up. I gotta go to work today. When I come home tonight, that's it. I gotta sit down, talk to him and say, this is it. You gotta pack your stuff and go, or I will go. Because we cannot do this. I can't. Like, I don't love you anymore because you've been doing this to me. And come home and he wasn't there, so it's like, okay. And then go to sleep and whatever. And then the next day would be a great day. It would be a great day. You'd laugh and have a great day, and the sun was shining, and you're like, okay, you know what? Maybe we can do this. No, it didn't. It did not get better. It did not get better. And for 3 years, I stressed about how am I going to do this? And, like, had a plan in my head. Like, okay, his stuff is in this room, and there's some stuff in the living room, and I have this box, so I can put in all that, and then I can just do it. Like, that was my life. Constantly in my head while he wasn't there, trying to figure out how to get rid of him. The abuse was so bad, mentally, so bad. And I know that he was not trying to hurt me, and he didn't see a lot of it. I'm not trying to make excuses for it. He does have an addiction problem. He is exactly like his mother. He hates it when I say that, but that's too bad. You are. He doesn't have a solid foundation or proper people in his life to deal with him and take care of him. And this is what happened. So I was like, okay, I'm smarter than this. I know the steps that I can do to try and help him. And that's what I continued to do, but it wasn't helping either one of us. It was not. Yeah. It was just, oh my God. I think back then, I think that was only 6 months ago. Like 6 months ago or 7 months ago, and I was sitting on the floor just like exhausted and bawling and crying and like, how is this going to end? And I am so thankful that I was able to get out of that. And it was hard. It was hard, and I had so much guilt when I actually did it. Tremendous guilt for like months, and it took a lot to get over that. And like, we rented a house. We didn't have a mortgage. Did not have a lot of bills. His paycheck was certainly not paying the bills. We have no children. None of that. And my parents were next door. I had places to go. I had a job. And it was still so difficult for me to take the step to do that when the only people that it was going to affect was him and I. So I look at people that are in situations, that women or even men that don't have a job, that have children, and I understand, and my heart goes out to you, how hard of a situation that you are in and how difficult that is. Because you don't know, he might be doing all this shit to you, but he's the one that pays the bills and you have a roof over your head. So what's going to happen? So I get that. I understand that. So it was it really was one of the hardest things I've ever done, actually, to try and make that decision to leave him. Once it was done, I realized, you know what, it wasn't that hard at all. There was a lot of negative things happened afterwards with him harassing me and stuff and calling. And it's done now. But even as hard as that was, it was still easier than dealing with him every day. So I totally get how people that don't have that, how you feel like you can't leave. I get that, and my heart hurts for you, because it just about killed me to do that. But I'll tell you, I never want to feel that way again, or even remotely feel like that way again, ever. Sitting there, seeing myself, feeling that, sitting on the floor with a knife and wanting to stab myself so I would bleed so he would leave me alone. It doesn't really get much worse than that. Really, really doesn't. And I really actually hope my parents don't watch this video. It's going to be really hard for them, and my dad's probably going to want to kill him. But please don't. Please don't. Because I did fight back, and I stood up for myself. And I really am okay now. And he really isn't. He really is not. And he needs a lot of help. And at his core, he is a good person. And I know that with the right tools, he can overcome this and be a good person to somebody else. And I hope that for him. He's not there yet. And I don't want people to treat him differently and look at him differently because of this and what I'm saying. By no means. I don't. That's not my objective, to make him look bad. It's... people know that, you know. I was smiling on the outside, not so much on the inside. There is support systems out there, and even if you feel bad about... don't feel bad about waking somebody up to help you at 3 a.m. if you're going through what I was going through. Because that will pass and you'll be out of it, and it'll be okay. Like, get help if you need help. That's all. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in the library now. I feel like I'm gonna bawl my eyes out. That's fantastic, great. Anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I never really want to talk about this again. Really, I don't, actually. I really don't. I really don't. The court system is handling the harassment now, and I don't have to go, which is great. And I wish him the best of luck, actually, in the rest of his life, and that he does overcome this and becomes a good person. And I just want to move on from it and start my life with Brian and not look back and never do that again. Yeah, so fun stuff. But at least it's a nice sunny day. Alright, that's all.